Hello and welcome to the Limited Adhesion GT3 Championship. We're into the final round and this time we're at Daytona. My name's Chris and joining me in the commentary booth again is Dave. Welcome aboard, Dave, and how are you today?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm pretty full of turkey and wine and all Christmassy things.
Yep, of course we're reaching that time of the year. So without no further ado, we'll go straight into the championship standings. Of course, Risky Racing Blue are already the team champions, so congratulations to them. That'll be Michael Messenger and Steve Greening. The points before drop scores in the Drivers' Championships are as follows. Andris Füellgrabe is leading the way on 258, with Michael Messenger on 233 and Steve Greening on 229. Those three are going to battle out this race in order to find out who's this season's champion. The other guys we can list below who have joined us in this season: Ollie Walker, Tura Malaran, Rob Miller, Lee Harding, David Lyne, Ollie Ettridge, Rhys Creighton, Gavin Kelly, Rick Barrow, Don Parker, Adam Highfield, William Bibby, Jake Weaver, Merrin Hugavin, Sam Stott, Mark Innes, Chris White, Stephen Cakebread, Jason Weaver, Chris Forrester, Charlie Langridge, Roberto Costa, The Ledge, Will Burnett, Matt Ceci, Martin Balby, Manuel Cruz, Mitchell Day, Keith Schooling, Steve McCann, and last but not least, Graham Bardsley. So thanks for all those guys joining in this season. We'll hope to get you in for the next one, which is going to be absolutely amazing. So the championship is now going to be between three drivers. Andris is well ahead and he doesn't really have a drop score to take. But Steve Greening is on 229 and is at 216 points after his drop score, and Michael Messenger is on 233, which is 205 after that's worked out. Essentially for Andris, he just has to have a really bad result in order to lose the championship. If Steve Greening wins, Andris needs P7 or higher to win. For Steve, he needs Andris to be P8 or lower, of course, and that will take the championship on countback. If Steve is second, he needs Andris to be 11 for lower. And we'll find out the permutation from Mike Messenger. He needs to, if he wants to win, Andris needs to be in P11 or lower, and Steve to be third or lower to win. If Mike comes in second, he needs Andris to be 15 for lower, essentially in last place for this race, and Steve to be 4 for lower.
There's quite a lot of permutations to take in a short amount of time there, but I think basically, Andris should win it, but if he gets a DNF, he's unlikely to win it.
Yeah, there shouldn't be too much pressure on him. Just needs to keep it clean. And of course, this race is an hour and 20 minutes long. So the times: David Lyne setting pole on 1 minute 43.1. Michael Messenger just a couple of tenths slower, with Steve Greening, his teammate, just behind him. Andris putting the pressure on those two in front of him. He's right behind them. Ollie Ettridge, Tura Malaran. Tura's doing an excellent result there. Lee Harding, Don Parker, Rhys Creighton. Rhys Creighton didn't start this round, so that's Sam Stott just behind him. And we've got Mitchell Day, Stephen Cakebread, Jason Weaver, Steve McCann, Chris White, and Merrin Hugavin. So only essentially 15 cars starting. So Andris essentially just has to kind of keep it in one piece.
So we've got Lyne on pole for the second time this season. I think this is the only person to put it on pole twice, but he's not in a championship, so I think he's probably just hoping that he doesn't take out any of the three behind him who are in the running for the championship. Yeah,
I think, but nonetheless, that's a really good result for him, and he can take that on board for next season. Of course, this is a part oval track. It's known for the Daytona 500, but we're using the road course today. It would be pretty boring just having GT3s go around in an oval.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's got such a long straight does make it an easier circuit to last an hour and 20 minutes on. You can have a bit of a rest.
That's true, yeah, less cornering. Turn 1 is quite difficult, I would say. Getting the braking point right, we might see some people get caught out. And of course we've got the chicane. As the pace car comes in, David Lyne with a flick of the wrist gets it on her way, and he's got away already by half a second. Michael Messenger following in behind. No position changes as of yet. Lee Harding, I can see, has just gone up, and Stephen Cakered and Chris White have just made a position. They've got through relatively cleanly through the first corner. And already Michael Messenger not wasting any time. He really wants to push ahead and put pressure on Andris to keep a good result. David Line, he probably knows that Michael Messenger's wanting to take this position, is not going to defend it too much, I would have thought. But
yeah, I mean, you can see he's taking some defensive lines, but let's see how aggressively he does so.
As we're on board,
gets such a big toe down here, so yeah, you can really. I mean, into the bus stop, you got a chance there, but that's a bit sketchy. Into turn one's the best place to do it.
Yeah, great camera angle here of the cars going into the bus stop chicane, and a shout out to our cameraman Dom. Great work over this season. We'll see how long Mr. T can fend off the Risky Racing Blue Boys.
Of course, we're doing this at night as well, so it's pretty cool temperatures, so it should be pretty fast times.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And I think, haven't we got it on like 8x sort of time multiplier or something?
We have indeed, yeah. So it's going to take us well into the night. Michael Messenger just having a look around the outside. And there's Toro Malaren. Oh, I think that might be Lee Harding's just spin. Going into the first corner. That will catch people out over the course of the race, I think, especially in the draft. As we see a replay of the sound stop, just clipping one of the other cars.
Yeah, turn one's really tough because you've got to be on the brakes as you're turning.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a few spins and tumbles over the course of the next hour or so. So this is a replay of, I guess, the beginning of the race. So see Toro Malaren, he qualified pretty well. He's really been probably the most improved driver of this series this season.
And in the McLaren here too, which, you know, I would have thought would be a terrible car on this circuit, but he's did qualify well in it.
Yeah, excellent. Back to the front. Michael Messenger is only 2/10 behind David Line.
It looks like this is on. I think he's probably could go around the outside here.
Yeah, the draft is quite strong here. It's just going to be a case of who's going to be more comfortable on the brakes going into turn one. Nicely done. But David Line's coming back on the inside. He opts not to challenge it. He doesn't want to let Steve Greening get a free pass either.
I think there may have been a tiny bit of contact there, but between Greening and Line.
Not too much change at the front. Andrew's still in 4th, Ollie in 5th, and Tura in 6th place. As Michael Messenger's starting to build a gap. As we're on board Lee Harding, yeah, as you said, very difficult to get it on the brakes and turning in, especially if you've got the draft pulling you in further as well. But he's kept in one piece, so props to him. And he didn't even make contact with any of the other cars. Well done.
So we've got no Ollie Walker here today.
Yeah, or I think this is like the first race we haven't had with the Rumblebees at all. I always had one or the other. But we hope to see them next season. They had a good run out already for this season.
Well, I don't think they're going to be a team next season. In fact, I believe that Line and Highfield are going to be teammates.
Wow. You heard it here first, that's an exclusive. If you haven't been on our Discord anyway. Torres pushing Ollie Ettridge. See, they might bang doors here, they do indeed. Very close. And it looks like they're all going wide, and Torres just getting a nudge from his teammate Sam Stott. That was unfortunate, and that's gifted Don Parker 4th place. Torres in a world of hurt. He's on the grass and he's going to have to let all those cars go through.
That was so unfortunate, because I think Torres just followed Ollie off there, and I think had he not, he would have just gone past.
Yeah, you're right, yep. And David Line under threat from Steve Greening. Nice respectful racing there, giving each other space.
Looks like the 3 of these have broken away a little bit now from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, difficult corner to take it at speed as the bus stop chicane. How he didn't hit any of the other cars, or the other cars didn't pile into him, is a minor miracle, but and that kind of gifted Torres a run on Ollie Ettridge. And onboard Don Parker getting a view of the carnage at turn 1.
Rubbing his hands with glee there. Scampering off.
It was like a Dick Dastardly in Wacky Races, you know, when he sets traps. So, Andris. Yeah, it was Andris who made the error, but he's fighting his way back.
Oh, another one here. I mean, this is
taking his,
down into well, I guess 6th there. I mean, this is getting getting a bit sketchy for Andris there. I know he can afford a 7th, can't he? But yeah, that's a little bit too close for comfort.
Taking his frustration out on the cones, and there we've seen a replay of Ollie just taking it a little bit wide, and Torres on hot tyres, scaring. I think that's Chris White in the background, trying to avoid the crash.
That bus stop is tough. It's really easy to get it wrong through there.
It is. Yeah.
The trick is you just got to run straight over that first apex. You know, cut it as much as you possibly can.
Or do what Jason Weaver just done and go straight through that. I guess he misjudged his speed, entering speed. You're going to get a slowdown, I guess, but it's better than slamming the wall. Back on board Lee Harding. He's going to have to make a bit of a recovery drive. I think he started down in 5th. Merrin Hugovin's made up some places. He started in 16th.
And yeah, I mean, you know, for Parker to be up to 4th now, that's a really good position for him. But he is quite a long way, behind the lead pack there.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a lonely drive for a while, I think, for him, unless Sam can pick up the pace. As we see Lee Harding making up a position. And that's Stephen Cake right ahead of us. So next season it's going to be into 2 splits. And most of these guys will be in the top split. We also have a Club 1500 for any of them who might feel they're less competitive. I just want to try it out for a while. If you want to come join us, you can hit us up in our Discord. As we see, I think that's Stephen McCann taking a chunk of the grass and then also going into the wall. But he's managed to get out of the racing line just in time. And going back to next season, of course, all levels and abilities, doesn't matter, as long as you just want to enjoy your racing. Welcome aboard to come and join us. Merritt's had quite a quiet season. I was expecting him to be further up the order. He joined us last season.
Yeah, I seem to remember him qualifying third in Barcelona, third or fourth. So he's had some good races.
Yeah, I think he's probably had some hardware issues quite recently, which has probably stopped him from getting in some practice, but we'll see how next season goes for him. And Lee Harding gaining position on Stephen Cakebread. So the stewards have got back with that incident between Ettridge and McLaren and opted for no further action. It was kind of a racing incident. So Messengers ahead by about 3/10 to Stephen Greening as we see him on board here. Line has dropped back a little bit. It might be a bit of a lonely drive for him, given that Don Parker's now almost 6.5 seconds behind. But anything can happen between those two, and we've of course got 2 pit stops this race.
Do you think they could be working as a team to tow each other around? I mean, it seems unlikely considering they're both, going for the championship, but...
Yeah, possibly. There's that option that they could save fuel, but whether it's really worth the effort, we'll see here if...
Steve doesn't seem... He's backed off slightly, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he had the run of him, and he's decided not to do it.
Yeah, he's probably just playing it in for his own game rather than for the team. They've already won the championship, so...
But that does mean that you can see Lyons catching them slightly, just set a faster lap than they both did.
Yeah.
That lap.
So Lyon is in the Audi again this time. Is this a permanent change, you think?
Well, he's got the choice between the Audi and the McLaren, and yeah, it just doesn't strike me as being a good McLaren track this, so yeah, the Audi's probably a better choice.
So the order at the moment is Michael Messenger in first, followed by Steve Greening, David Lyon, Don Parker, Sam Stotts in 5th, Andris Füellgrabe, all important, all eyes on him, he's in 6th at the moment. Ollie Ettridge, Lee Harding, Stephen Cakebread and Merrin Hoogerman round up the top 10, with Mitchell Day, Tur Millarn up to 12th. The rest of them are either out or in the pits at the moment. Yes, Steve's definitely lifting off, trying to save some fuel, I guess, and get a quicker pit stop. So I've already seen some tactics going into play.
I think at this stage, with an hour to go, he's just not really interested in leading.
Yeah. Doesn't want the pressure, I think. Perhaps Andris isn't pushing himself too much this race. He just wants to keep it clean.
He basically just needs to finish, doesn't he? So yeah, he's not going to fight too hard. See if he fights this.
Yeah, with Ollie Ettridge
giving Ollie a pretty wide berth there.
Yeah, wise thing to do. Sam Stott's doing pretty well, he's in 5th. That's a lot higher than what he has been recently. Of course, we're missing a few people like Rob Miller, Gavin Kelly. They can't afford a team, unfortunately not here tonight.
So it's
we've got
it's a long race. So I've just to kind of spice things up. I've looked up some strange facts about British history. Do you want to hear the first one?
Go ahead then.
Victorians called sausages little bags of mystery. Yeah, so there you go.
Well, that's something I never knew before. I'll remember that next time I go into the shop and ask for some little bags of mystery.
Yeah.
They might give me a funny look.
Yeah, give it a go.
So, Mary Hugovan hot on the tail of Stephen Cakebrad. Both driving Ferraris today. We normally see Stephen Cakebrad in a Porsche. And he's got a new livery today as well. What are your expectations for next season, Dave? Oh, as we see Stephen Cakebrad just taking a chunk of grass. It gets away smoothly.
Well, I think one thing this season we haven't seen a lot of is Adam Highfield. So and I think he hasn't been in half the races for various kind of reasons, but he's told me that he's going to be really on it for next season, and he's going to be teammates with Lines. So I think that might be interesting. And I think also Andris is going to have a new teammate.
Wow.
Because his current teammate is going to be in the lower tier.
Of course, yeah. Will Burnett, of course, yeah. So that'll be interesting to see who joins on board. And we look forward to having Adam back next season. So welcome back, Adam, if you're watching.
We have to see what being teammates means, really. Beyond just the team kind of score. Does it mean teammates that are actually going to kind of work together, to share knowledge?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that can come into play, especially if you're not going to be challenging for the Drivers' Championship, but perhaps the Constructors' Championship, where your partner's points are going to count towards that. Don Parker setting his fastest lap, reaching into the 144s. As we see Merrin trying to take Stephen Cakebrad around the outside, but then thinks better of it. As we see a replay of Ollie Ettridge, it looks like he's just a bit of front end damage there to Andris, I think, but I think he'll just opt to drive on and repair it. I think they might get a quick repair.
I think he'll just about get away with that.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. And Chris White, coming in way too hot and opting to stop himself with the barrier, and a trip to the pits for him, I think. Next season he will be in the 1500 club. Quite a few drivers. It's going to be quite competitive in that club as well. We've got Gareth Winslade and other drivers who might not necessarily. Jake Weaver as well. Jason Weaver might join us there. We'll see. Mitchell Day, not necessarily the quickest, but will be competitive for sure. Yeah, we'll see how many cars are going to lose it in this chicane tonight. They get through it pretty cleanly. It's not only the speed that you take, it's also part of it. You can get a slowdown for going slightly wide.
You can cut quite a lot of it though. Yeah, you really can.
Merrin also doing the same tactic as Steve Greening, I think, wanting to save a bit of fuel. So the battle out front, it's only half a second in it or so. And David Lyne just lurking in the background. I guess he'll be hoping for a mix-up between these two if they start battling towards the end.
They don't seem to want to at the moment, though, do they? But let's see what happens here. Yeah, look there, he's just letting off slightly. Let's see after the bus stop. Come on, Steve. Because you can, even from this far back, you know, you can get enough for toe to have a go here.
So we've got about an hour left or so. Probably start to see the first mandatory pit stops in the next 10 minutes.
So lines into the high 43s there.
Oh, that's very rapid.
Took out a couple of tenths from Messenger at the front.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. If just keeping in touch with the leaders, and anything can happen. But it does seem to be these three that have got the podium places all wrapped up. Lee Harding setting his fastest lap of the race so far. They might opt to change tyres in their second stop. Probably not for the first stop. It's not too rough on the tyres Daytona, especially when they're pretty much going on an oval straight. So the winners of the positions at the moment: Don Parker's went up 4 places, Sam Stotler's went up 5, and Mariner Hooker up 6 places since the start.
So it should be at least a 2-stopper then at 1.2 hours. Should be stopping at least twice.
Yep, that's correct. And of course they're using the road course, which is roughly around about 3.5 miles, or if you want it in kilometres, it's about 5.7. Gained some time in the turn 1 there. Especially with a race this long, you need high concentration levels. It can be pretty boring, especially on a track like Daytona where there's not much happening. It's easy to forget where you are.
I imagine now it's the sort of the middle of the night. The track temp should be around, you know, as low as they will go, probably 19C or so.
You're correct there, and that only confirms it by seeing Stephen Cakebread and Marin Hugavin setting their fastest times of the race so far. News in today that the first race will be at Silverstone on the 6th of February for our new season, and that will be followed by Watkins Glen. Of course, that's just had a bit of a refurb on iRacing, and Imola will be on the 6th of March. So please do join us if you want to come race. And back to the never-ending battle with Marin Hugavin and Stephen Cakebread. Very similar pace guys. Marin's just planting his car behind Stephen Cakebread.
Oh, they both got that wrong.
It's like a game of chess between these two guys. See who can make the wrong move. But it's good to see drivers that they have an understanding that it's not going to be won and the race isn't won or the position isn't won. Oh, as we see, Marin Upton for his pit stop already, and Lee Harding's came into the pits.
Yeah, that's an early stop. I think they're going to struggle to make a two-stopper work this early on.
Yeah, that is very interesting. Unless they underfueled the car at the beginning, but that's highly unlikely. So Lee Harding's completed his first pit stop. David Lynch caught slightly to the front two. And Andris Füellgrabe having another quiet race. It's not really quiet at the front for him, but of course. Oh, and are we seeing the first of the pit stops for the leaders? Michael Messenger opts to come in, and David Line. So earlier than what I anticipated. So Steve Greening, the Lone Ranger. Let's see if that fuel that he saved so far has done any good to him. Busy pit lane here. Ollie Ettridge came in, and Anders also, as well as Sam Stott. If you want to have a read up on some articles, you can visit the website at limitofadhesion.com. There's some articles written there by some of the admin about the drivers and some race reports. So will Steve opt to come in now? That is the question.
I can see that somehow Messenger has managed to gain about 3 seconds on line during that stop. So I don't know whether he's put less fuel in or maybe just a slow stop line.
Yeah, that's interesting, yeah, because he was only 1.7 seconds or so behind. And indeed, he does opt to come in this lap. And there's Andris, he's on the tail of Sam Stott. But Sam won't want to relinquish that position because it's one of his best results of the year, I think. And in comes Don Parker. We haven't seen much of him.
I was hoping he was going to stay out for another lap and lead the race for a bit.
Yeah, get his moment of glory. But doing very well nonetheless. Sam just lifting a little bit. Doesn't want to fight Andris. Might just want to hang on to his coattails and keep in the draft to keep Ollie Ettridge and Lee Harding.
I mean, that was for position, wasn't it? So I assume that Sam just didn't want to, make life too difficult for somebody who's challenging for the championship. Although it almost thought for a minute he's gonna have a go, but yeah.
It's Dom Parker coming out of the pits now. So Dom potentially has lost places here. Oh, and Sam's gone off. Oh, nightmare. Maybe he got distracted with the car coming out of the pits. That's very unfortunate. Let's see a replay of this. It's a replay of Tour actually. Oh, nightmare for the QRS boys. It's not going well for them. Oh, he's missed his braking point, yeah. I've seen a couple of guys do that already. The car isn't too badly damaged. But that puts Don Parker back up to 5th. Yeah, a very large gap between David Lyon and Andris.
But I'm surprised that Greening didn't jump Messenger in the pits there, because he had what, 1 or 2 laps where he had hardly any fuel on board. And it's not like we're changing tyres here, so I would have thought that would be an opportunity to jump Messenger. So I'm surprised. I'm just wondering now whether Messenger's actually put less fuel in his car.
Could be the case. We'll find out when the second pit stops come into play how long those last. So as it stands, Andris is still on course to win the championship, but as we've seen so far in the race, there can be some errors which might cost positions.
It can be over so easily, right? I mean, Sam nearly went into the back of him then, and earlier in the race, he just glanced off Ollie. So yeah, it's he's sort of in the thick of it, sort of battling cars a little bit more than he needs to.
Yeah, he definitely wants to get rid of the pack that he's in front of now. So you might see a few quick laps going in. Of course, Dom and Ollie are not exactly slow drivers either. They're pretty quick in their own right. Nice overhead shot of the track. I think Daytona's where our Oval Division are starting their season, if I'm not mistaken. That will also be kicking off in February. If you're into your kind of NASCAR and IndyCar, join that league. And there's definitely close racing and exciting racing on board there. So as the first pit stops are out the way, oh, look at that bent wing on Sam. He's going to lose a lot of time if he gets out of the draft. But he might just hang on until the second pit stop and get a quick repair.
I never know quite how realistic the damage model is, though. I mean, I don't think that car would perform like it is now with a win like that.
No, not at all. I'm looking forward to when they introduce rain to the iRacing series. That will make these types of races very interesting. That should be released in the next couple of seasons or so, they were talking about.
I think it rains too much in this part of the world, though, does it?
Yeah, that's right. Whoa, and that's Ollie Etridge off the track. Wonder what happened there. I'm sure we'll get a replay. It looks like he went too hot into the bus stop chicane. Whoa, taking a huge chunk of grass. He's almost kept it straight. But a long way off the track. And on board Marin Hugavin. Going too quick into turn 1, but he... Whoa, bit of a stunt jump there. That cost the position to Stephen Cakebrett. So... Was that some Morse code there by Michael Messenger?
Well,
Steve Green's...
Messenger's in second now.
In the lead. Yeah, so... Wonder what's happening there. As we hear a car in the background sliding and crashing, I wonder who that was.
So Line's gone from about, 5 seconds behind to 3.3 seconds now.
He has, yeah. So he's getting a couple of seconds. I wonder if that was caused by the change of position between Greening and Messenger. Let's see if the gloves are off already for these two.
I think pretty much. If it wasn't for Line being a few seconds behind, these two could just mess about as much as they liked, really.
So they really are battling now. Obviously not battling too hard. They don't want to knock each other out of the race.
Yeah, but I think that's allowed Line to catch up by a second.
Yeah, it has, yeah. See him in the background. So if this plays out for quite a while, we might see a 3-car race for the lead. So as it stands, after the first pit stops, Michael Messenger is in first, Steve Green in second, David Line in third, Andris Füellgrabe in fourth, followed by Don Parker, Lee Harding, Sam Stott, Ollie Ettridge, Stephen Cakered, Merrin Hugavin and Mitchell Day are still left in the race. Mitchell Day opting for the Ford. Only Ford runner in the race at the moment. We'll see if more people take it up next season. Steve Green puts it up the inside. Does he make the move stick? Indeed he does. But will Michael Messenger get the better run?
It's virtually pointless to do the move there, really. I mean, because you can just get the run back again, really. Just back off, let them through, take a better line, take a better exit. And I would have thought we'd see Messenger go straight past Greening here.
I think you're right there, Dave.
Or maybe he's not going to risk it, but let's see. Oh, we went a bit wide.
It's going to cost them time. Yeah, David Lyne's only a second and a half behind now. Greening's flashing his lights. I think that might be Mitchell Day. Ollie Ettridge is looking to take on Sam Stott. Will he get the move done going into turn one? Sam has got the inside. But nice move there by Ollie. That gap between Messenger and Line is coming down quite rapidly. Very unfortunate there between Cakered and Hugavin, who were doing really well up until that point to keep it clean. They've been racing all race.
So yeah, line down to 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, to play for.
These two just, I don't know, I think they're flying in formation here, really.
Very late on the brakes there by Michael Messenger.
You can see Mr. T is getting bigger and bigger, and there he is.
Speak of the devil, there he is. Yeah, David Line will just be hoping for these two to keep battling, and that brings him into the equation.
Oh no, he's dropped it.
That's really unlucky.
He was pushing very hard to catch him there. And now he's back to square one. 6 seconds, 7 seconds behind again.
Quite a long gap though to Andris. No positions lost, that's the main thing. Incredible battle there with Cakebrad and Hugavin have been neck and neck the whole race. So we might see the next pit stops in about 5-10 minutes time. And those should take us to the end, hopefully. Difficult to distinguish who's going to have the upper hand here. Could Michael Messenger be carrying a lighter fuel load? And of course now he's behind Steve Green, he can sit back and save fuel as well.
Yeah, I think the top three are going to struggle to make this a two-stopper. See?
Now I'm wondering if Stephen Cakebrad got a slow down there or not. Marin looks to get the move done anyway.
I think you can cut that apex a surprising amount. Oh, it's very wide.
Yeah, I was going to say completely different lines there.
Yeah, ideally you really need to be hugging the inside there.
Sam Stott sitting in 8th place after his minor bump into the barrier. Yeah, he seems to be losing the draft to Ollie Etridge now, and that's going to drag him further back. Right, we should get the wing fixed in the next pit stop.
Do you like another
yeah, go for
historical
it. Go for another
fact?
Yeah.
Did you know art was considered an Olympic sport between 1912 and 1948?
Wow. Didn't know that. That's something I wouldn't be good at in any case. Alright, since we're getting out facts, did you know Daytona's straight is so long they had to take into account the curvature of the Earth when building it?
Well, you know what? Like, I mean, I used to do flight sims and visual system to flight sims, so model runways and stuff. And it's surprising how much effect the curvature of the Earth has. You wouldn't have thought it comes into play on a runway, but yeah, I found that the when I first modeled a runway as flat, the end of it was about 2 meters too high.
Wow. Hopefully, there weren't any passengers on that first flight.
They'd be virtual passengers, so yeah.
Yeah, virtual passengers, yeah, of course, yeah. They'd be in for a surprise come the end of the runway. And we see Michael Messenger's looking to make a move now. But he's on the outside going into turn 1, so he's going to have to be later on the brakes if he wants to get the move done. Oh, that is brave. Cutting inside. But he gets the position nonetheless. David Lyon about 6.5 seconds back. Andris is about 17 from that.
Yeah, I mean, again, Lyon's caught up another second as well, but if he keeps on throwing it out the window, you know, by spinning every time it gets close, it's not going to be much.
Pretty lonely drive for Andris. Dom Parker's about 6 seconds behind or so, and Lee Harding a further 5 seconds behind Dom. So
yeah,
it's all about concentration and getting the consistent laps in.
I think the top 3 can pretty much afford to do an additional stop for a smash and dash here. Yeah.
So we're going to see shortly who's going to blink first in terms of the second pit stop. Definitely looking forward to Watkins Glen. That's a nice track to run in the GT3.
Do you know what which version it's going to be? Is it going to be classic or?
I'm not too sure. I know like the 6 hours usually got the boot in it.
But it's about there's that bus stop, isn't there?
Yeah,
down the main street.
yeah.
I quite enjoy that bus stop. You can
it's quite fun.
take it at a crazy speed.
I think we've got a team set up for the Daytona 24 hours, so we'll no doubt report back on that and how they get on. No doubt it'll be some of the drivers who are racing today. As we see Ollie Ettridge trying to catch up with Lee Harding. So there must have been an error from Lee Harding because he's caught up a little bit.
Do we know who's had fastest lap? I'm not sure if we know that from the graphics here.
I think I did see Michael Messenger get the fastest lap round about lap 3 or so, but it could have changed since then.
So again, yeah, temp should still be very, very low. I mean, what time is it at the moment? I'm guessing it's probably could be getting to 3 or 4 in the morning or so.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah, definitely. Ideal temps for these cars. Interesting. David Lyons just caught 2/10 up in terms of his lap times for the guys in front.
I imagine he's just sitting there thinking, you know, these two at some point, probably in the last couple of laps, they're going to have a go, aren't they? You know, it's going to get spicy at that point. So just sit there and wait.
Yeah, of course, with the Constructors' Championship already wrapped up for these two, it's last man standing to see if Andris does have an issue.
Well, yeah, with Andris sitting there in 4th, neither of them are going to win, but it's about who comes second.
Yeah. Oh, and a pile of cones through all of the track. And it's also going to be pretty hard because we seem to have about 5 cars out, so that leaves only 11 cars left running, which pretty much puts Steve Greening out of contention, really. And as expected, some of the cars are coming in for their second stop.
But
Michael Messenger.
They're going to have to pit again, aren't they?
Possibly. It depends how conservative they're with the fuel and probably their gearing as well.
Half an hour to go, and some of that was on, you know, behind a pace car, so probably 33 minutes to go at race speed.
Yeah.
I think that's too much.
Might be an extra couple of minutes needed. Speaking of fuel savers, this guy's almost world renowned for his fuel saving.
He is, but I mean, you know, he's a pit stop behind, so yeah.
Michael Messner just comes out ahead of Ollie Ettridge. Kind of their sister/brother team. Not sure if that's encouraging him to go faster by flashing his lights or trying to put him off.
So I totally lied about Andris being a pit stop behind because Messenger line have both pitted and they are behind Andris. So yeah. Who knows?
We'll see how that plays out and see if Mike Messenger gets stuck in traffic. Again, it looks like David Lyons lost slight bit of time to Mike Messenger, just by a couple of seconds.
Yeah, so it's, you know, I guess we don't know why that might be. Is he not attacking the entry to it as much, or not launching properly from it, or maybe he overshot the pit box or something?
Yeah. So Lee Harding taking his second pit stop. Steve Green has gone out for another lap, and Andris and Dom, so they're definitely eking out the last drops of fuel. And hopefully we don't see like a miscalculation of fuel. That would be disastrous, getting to the last couple of laps and find out you're on fumes. Stephen Cakebread out on his own while Marin Hugoin takes his pit stop. A lot of red Ford trucks or red Chevrolet trucks in the pit area.
Okay, was that
another lap?
Was that another lap? Yeah. So was that 2 or 3 laps more than?
Yeah, it's high kind of 2. Don Parker opting to let Mike Messenger go past. I don't think he'll be too keen to let Ollie Ettridge go past, however. We'll be hoping Mike gets the job done. So that's Andris in the pits now. Dom going round for another lap as well. That is going to be interesting come the last couple of laps. Great work from Don Parker, getting himself very high up the standings this race. They're bound to come in this time round, surely.
Yeah, he has to. Here he is.
Here he is, yeah. Alright, so Steve Greening pits from the lead. He has got quite a big gap. We'll see how this plays out. as we see, the pit stop for Stephen Capered was roughly around 21 seconds, but of course you've got to take into account the entry and exit. Costs probably another 12 seconds or so. That's a very quick pit stop from Steve Greening, 18.6 seconds, but looks like Mike Messenger has flown past him. Dom Parker still out. I wonder what that Ferrari has got in his tank.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say at this point that that Dom Parker should be able to two-stop. Messenger line won't. Greening might be able to if he really fuel saves.
Yeah.
Same with Andris.
So this might work in Dom's favour if he doesn't have to pit a third time. So we've roughly got about 20 or so minutes left, 25 minutes. Nice line through there.
Yeah, that was pretty much perfect.
Surely Dom's going to come in now. Yep, he is indeed. Not too many incidents this race, but of course I guess that's attributed to the track layout.
So you got to say though, I mean, considering it's a marginal situation of people needing to pit again. So, you know, Dom, that should be the last time he has to pit. So is he in the running to win? Yeah,
it's going to be very close. I think it's nip and tuck really between Mike Messenger, David Line, and potentially Steve Greening, whether they'll be very low on fuel come the end.
Well, I mean, you know, if Greening and Andris can eke this out, I think if Andris can eke this out, then he may well be able to snatch a podium here. Yeah.
As we see, Dom just comes out ahead of Ollie Ettridge. Yeah, you can see the difference in the pit stop strategies. Dom's definitely got the upper hand. Yeah, that's definitely going to be interesting come the last 5 minutes of the race. See who's been driving more conservative than the others. Likewise, Ollie could be opting to fuel save here.
When did Ollie pit?
He pitted, well, he was one of the first ones, I believe. He went in roughly around about the same time as Mike Messenger.
Yeah, I don't think that Parker has to pit again. So, although it's close on the track here, I'm unless Ollie does some serious fuel saving, I think that Dom's got the upper hand.
So after those pit stops, the order is as follows: Michael Messenger in first, Steve Greening in second, David Line in third, Andris Füellgrabe in fourth, Dom Parker sitting in fifth for the moment, with Ollie Ettridge behind in sixth, Lee Harding in seventh, Sam Stott in eighth, Stephen Craigbrad in ninth, Maren Hoogervin in 10th, and Mitchell Day sitting in 11th. I don't think any of the drivers actually opted to change their tyres, interestingly enough. So maybe tyre wear isn't an issue.
How long does it take to change tyres?
About, I want to say it's 12 seconds, but I could be wrong with that.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be worth it, is it? They can go for an hour and a half. Well, let's see what the lap times are like at the moment. So lines, yeah, sort of catching them up again. So 43.8. So I mean, that's as fast as anything that's been done, right? So there's nothing wrong with the tyres at the moment.
The intimidating BMW of all the entries behind Don Parker, but you don't want to have that going into the bus stop chicane, knowing there's a guy behind you. David Lyons caught up slightly to the front two. It's no longer 8 seconds, down to about 6.
Well, yeah, exactly. After the pit stop, he was a good 8 seconds behind or so. So, yeah, he's been scuppered by his pit stops and his spins.
Yeah, hopefully in the new year that's a new resolution with his pit crew.
But Andris, I mean, yeah, last time we were looking at the top 4, Andris was, what, 21 seconds behind, and he's now 27, so I don't know if he's decided early on that he's going to do fuel saving.
Yeah, his time is dropping roughly about half a second a lap, which I guess he's not pushing very hard. And who wouldn't when you know it's almost in the bag? Again, Steve Greening setting a 1:43.8, so he's still putting in some very quick laps. David Lyons setting his fastest lap of the race, 1:43.854.
Yeah, so there's no reason to change these tyres considering we're 20 minutes away from the end of the race.
Yeah. That's perfect. We're bound to get some battling in the next 10 minutes or so between these two, and of course the front two. Speak of the devil, here is Ollie Ettridge making a move on Dom Parker. Dom opts not to fight it. He does get a nice run. It would have been interesting to see how, if some of the other drivers like Rob Miller came into this race, how they would affect it. Gavin Kelly as well, he's pretty quick. Of course, you've got guys like William Bibby who haven't seen so much this season. Mike Messenger opting for the inside line. Wow, Steve Greening braking very late, keeping the car under control.
He did, but it looked leery though, didn't it?
Yeah, I think if he's going a few kilometres an hour quicker, it might have been the end of that battle.
I mean, it showed some intent. I would imagine for him to be that brave, he probably wants to try and pull away now.
I think you're right, Dave.
Of course, if Greening can eke out a stop here, then it's in the bag, really.
Yeah. I was just noticing the lap times. Andris Füellgrabe set a 1:46 flat, so he's about a second and a half at least slower than what kind of the front three are lapping at.
he must be fuel saving, or that was a mistake.
Yeah.
I think that's so far off the pace that you know what it's like when you try to go a little bit slower and you get all out, your rhythm all gets off. I don't think that's on purpose, unless he's really aggressively trying to fuel save.
Yeah. So into the last 15 minutes of the race. I guess these two are just going to be fighting for pride.
See what lap times they're doing. By 44s.
Yeah, they are pushing.
Ooh.
Wow. I think was that possibly Marin Hugavin. Either that or Steve Cakebrett.
I think that's enabled line to catch up by 7 or 8 tenths, because that was a bit of an unfortunate place to catch up with the stationary car.
Yeah, that gap is coming down. It just needs a couple of battles between these two to bring that even further down. As you see, Ollie Etridge setting his quickest lap, 1:44.3, and Don Parker setting a 44.6. Of course, those two are battling together.
But that's a similar lap time to what the leaders are doing.
Yeah, so props to those guys. Even though they're a little bit down the order, they're still setting fairly quick times. Speaking of these two, we are on board Ollie Etridge. Needs to hold his nerve in the last 10 minutes, keep Don Parker at bay. Well, they opt for another brave move into turn 1 this time round. Opts against it, probably quite wise.
Approaching a back marker there.
Gap to line is coming down. It's now under 5 seconds, and it's probably going to reach about 4 seconds flat once they get past this back marker.
I think there's going to need to be some splashing and dashing though here. Ollie Etridge with a 44.3, that's his fastest lap of the race.
Wow. And that was kind of Stephen Cakebrett to let the front two past. Stephen Cakebrett we'll see in the top tier once again next season.
Let's see what the lap times are like, because I'm just wondering if they're trying to fuel save.
Yeah, as it looks like it's dawn here at Daytona. The lights are coming on. Very similar times.
Pretty fast laps. I think they've given up. If they, I don't think that Messenger is beyond the point of fuel saving. I think he definitely needs to come in. I'm just not sure. Maybe Greening could, but yeah, those are pretty fast laps. So it doesn't look like it, does it?
They'll be hoping David Lyons on the kind of same strategy. I've got the gap to Andris, but as I said earlier, just driving for pride now and get the best position possible. On board Don Parker then into turn 1. looking to hunt down Ollie Ettridge.
Yeah, I mean, every time I look at Dom, he's doing a really nice line to turn. So, you know, but like I mean, his line's brilliant. I think to get up to the kind of top pace, I think maybe just needs to carry a little bit more speed on those apexes. But.
Yeah. And we see Mitchell Day just losing it at the bus stop, going into the tyre wall. We've seen a couple of cars going there. Marin Hugavin obviously span at turn 1, but he managed to get out of the way of the front 2.
Line's under 4 seconds now, just over now.
That is coming down with 9 minutes remaining, all to play for.
Fast up the race there.
Oh, yeah, just going to say 43.7, that's very rapid. And considering he's out on his own, that's no help from any draft. Here we are on board David Line. It's getting, yeah, that gap has closed quite considerably. He's only 3.2 seconds behind.
He's just been staring at those 2 blue Beamers for over an hour now.
Let's hope he doesn't bottle it when he manages to catch up. I think he's going to catch up sooner rather than later to these 2.
See if it stays with the bus stop.
Yeah.
Get the line through here. We could have taken a bit more there, but quite a lot on the exit. Yeah.
Yeah. As we see the timings, Dawn Parker's dropped a little bit back from Ollie Ettridge, and Lee Harding and Sam Stott are still in 7th and 8th place.
Line's pitting here.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, are we going to see a domino effect? He seems to have blinked first at least. And we can see that is a very quick stop from him.
Was it? No, he was still there.
9.7 seconds. Mr. T gets underway.
So I think he's going to come out ahead of Andris here.
Yeah, he's got a full pit stop ahead of him. Now let's see if these 2 follow suit. Surely Mike Messenger will have to do it if David Line has. Unless they're going to try eke out every last drop until they possibly can. And Mike Messenger does indeed come in. So that puts the game into Steve Greening's hands. We'll see how he fares over the next couple of laps, if indeed it gets that far. Yeah, Andris is only 3.5 seconds from line, but of course he may need to pit.
So 4 laps to go, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of can't help but feel that out of the top 3 here, whoever can make a 2-stop work with a 1.
Yeah. And Merrin's put it into the tyre wall. Not having the best of races today. Messenger had a 4-second quicker pit stop than Line.
That's interesting. I mean, that can't be down to putting more fuel in the car or something, so something must have happened.
Yeah, and Line is about 9 seconds or so all the way back.
Maybe Line is just terrible at pit stops.
As we see, Dom Parker, he'll likely be able to run to the end of the race. But the question is, will Ollie Ettridge and indeed Andris Füellgrabe?
Are those flies on the windscreen?
Could possibly be.
Yeah.
Dirt, stones. Dom's been more aggressive this time round.
Yeah, I mean, again, like really nice line through that. What's going on here?
Andris going slow. Has he run out of fuel? Stopping. I think he's run out of fuel. Oh, his engine's gone.
Yeah, blown engine.
Wow. Blown his engine. Unbelievable. Why would that happen in the last race of the season? He's going to have to take it towed to the pits.
I mean, he's lucky because, you know, that number of people have dropped out the race here because I think he's probably still okay. Oh,
that was really, really unfortunate for him. But again, he's lucky that, like you said, there's not many people in today's race. That could have cost him the championship.
Not the best race for Andris though, so you know it does show he's you know, like, I mean, he's basically been virtually perfect all season, isn't he? Really, I mean, he missed a race, but other than that, he's been podium pretty much every time. Looked pretty much indestructible, but yeah, this race is going to show that doesn't always go his way.
Bad entry exit there for Dom. Hopefully that isn't going to cost him too much. As you said, yeah, it's nice to see that some of our leaders can be proven to be human. They can be extremely quick. Wow, David Lyne setting out 1:43.4. That's insanely quick. That's almost half a second quicker than the previous fastest lap.
However, just a couple of laps to go here now, so just a bit of showboating probably. You know, you do often, I mean, personally, I find when the pressure's off and I forget about which position I'm in and I just drive, that's when I start driving my best, you know. Yeah.
So Andris is back up, new engine installed, down into 9th place. So that will still give him the championship, of course, but not a way you want to end your championship winning season.
He's not going to complain though, is he?
No. He looks to make a move on Stephen Cakebread. Yeah, Steve Greening has gone into the pits as well. Now, that's going to be interesting to see where Michael Messenger comes out. Oh, and Dom Parker's into the tyre barrier at the bus stop chicane as well. Nightmare for him.
That's really surprising. It's really surprising. You know, watching him through the bus stop, he looked so under control.
Yeah. Yeah, I think perhaps he was just worried about Ollie Ettridge still having track position, trying to push it. So, Steve Greening is out just in front of Andris Füellgrabe by the looks of it.
But a lap down. Oh, well, a lap up.
Yeah, a lap down, yeah. And we just seen Michael Messenger just in front there. So it looks like Michael Messenger is going to get the win.
That's surprising. Where did Greening lose 3 seconds there? Do you think he was trying to fuel save a bit just to see if he could eke it out, then realised he couldn't make it, so had to pit anyway?
Yeah.
Because he was leading. He was in front of Messenger.
Yeah, so you can see the live championship standings. Andris Füellgrabe is on 286 points, and a tie at the moment for Steve Greening and Michael Messenger. So the championship seems to be done and dusted, and whoa!
Wow, this is the last lap, isn't it? Oh,
yeah. Wow, and David Lyne getting involved as well. Some last lap drama there. Unbelievable.
Well, I think ironically that Lyne actually helped Greening point his car in the right direction there.
Yeah, it's probably quicker that way. So Michael Messenger wins at Daytona. Andris Füellgrabe taking the championship, crosses the line as well. So that puts Steve Greening in second and Michael Messenger on third, based on countback, I believe. And David Lyne there just dragging the car in fourth.
I think he was hitting the barrier. He was hitting the barrier off the line there.
Ollie Ettridge setting the fastest lap of the race on the final lap, so well done to him. That's no mean feat. There we see Mitchell Day, and the only Ford of the race. Well done to him to battle it out. And the stewards say no investigation necessary for that last lap incident involving Greening and Kate Bread and Line. Guess it was just one of those things that happened, which has proved to be a tricky corner. And Lee Harding finishing in 5th. Well done to him. And Sam Stott up in 6th place. Well done to him as well.
I mean, the surprising thing here is that Ollie's made it onto the podium, because he was a long way back at one point, so I can only assume that he was fuel saving, because he managed to eke out 2 stops. Yeah, 2 stops, it says there.
Yeah, well done to him. I wonder if Lee was low on fuel at the end there. He's going pretty slowly over the line. As we see the onboard of Don Parker, I guess, when he lost it at the bus stop. Yeah, he's pushing very hard. I've seen some highlights of the incident with Steve Greening. Yeah, that corner seems to have taken quite a few drivers. And David Lyne obviously just correcting Steve the right way.
Made it for an hour and 20 minutes without spinning on the last lap. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it's just, it was either that or he's going to spin on the grass. Dragging himself to, I'd hate to see how many X's that is going to get him. Using it like a like a bowling alley where you put the barriers up and the children.
What a way to end the season. So the standings after that race at Daytona: Michael Messenger in first, Steve Greening in second, Ollie Ettridge up in third, well done to him, and David Lyne finishing fourth. Lee Harding in 5th, Don Parker in 6th, followed by Sam Stott, Andris Füellgrabe, who wins the championship, in 8th, Stephen Cakebread in 9th, Merrin Hugavin in 10th, and Mitchell Day rounding up the finishers in 11th, with Chris White, Tuur Malaren, Jason Weaver, Stephen McCann, and Rhys Creighton making up the rest of the positions. And on to the championship standings. Well done to Andris, crowned champion this season for season 3. We'll see how he comes back next season, having to defend his title. Of course, he's going to be under a lot of pressure because we've got the likes of Stephen Greening and Michael Messenger, who will be no doubt on his tail. And Ollie Walker, Lee Harding, Tuur Malaren, Ollie Ettridge, David Lyne, Rob Miller, making up the top 10 or so. All of those will expect him to be challenging for the top positions next season. And of course, the likes of Don Parker, who had a good round this time, and Gavin Kelly will also be in the top tier, along with Adam Highfield, who we haven't seen so much. Some of the other names that we see in the Club 1500 with the likes of Mark Innes, Jake Weaver, Chris White, Mitchell Day, Chris Forrester, probably Roberto Costa, I would have thought, the ledge, and Will Burnett. We'll look forward to seeing those next season. So, as we already knew, Risky Racing well out in front in the championship standings, with Blackpink finishing in 2nd and Risky Racing Orange in 3rd. Rumble Bees, who didn't appear today, finishing in 4th, so they kind of lost out from today's race. And Cannon Fodder losing a couple of places as well. So we look forward to season 4, which will begin at Silverstone. We'll hope to see some new faces as well as some recurring drivers, as Andris defends his title in the main stable, and of course we'll get a new Drivers' Championship in the Club 1500.
Of course, Andris won it twice now.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so yeah, he's definitely the man to beat. So that's all from us here at Daytona. My name's Chris, and we'll see you next season. It's goodbye from me, and you want to say goodbye, Dave?
Yeah, I'll say goodbye. One more fact, one more historical fact.
Go for it then.
Secret Service agents in the First World War would use seamen as invisible ink.
And on that note, it's goodbye from us.
Night night.